This is a recovered case file from the District Attorney's Office detailing the journal entries of one Brian Singer, a 14-year-old boy. The case was closed in 1993, but I was reminded of it when a similar incident occurred recently. I can't prove they're connected, but I hope that I can make others aware of this and maybe something can be done to save the next victim. August 3rd, 1992.
This has been going on for a week now and no one believes me. I don't really do the whole journal thing, but this is freaking me out, and maybe if I write down everything I've seen and show it to the right people, they can help me. There's a man hanging around outside of my house at night and I don't know what he wants. I'm absolutely terrified that he's going to hurt me. The first time I saw him, I had just finished brushing my teeth and putting on my pajamas. I switched off the light in my room and, without the glare of my window, I could see outside of the streetlight across the road. There was a man under it, and he was looking right at me. I couldn't tell from the distance, but it looked like he had a big smile on his face. Almost unnaturally big, and it made me really uncomfortable. At first, I didn't think anything of it. It's just a guy on the street. It could have been some creep who wanted me to change, but I didn't want to tell my family and make them think that I was paranoid. So I just went to bed. The next night when I turned out the light, he was there again. But this time when I saw him, he started to walk towards my house. I didn't like him looking at me, so I stepped aside from the window. When I peeked back outside, he was just standing in the middle of the road with that smile on his face, staring at my house. I went to bed, but it took me a long time to fall asleep and I kept looking at the window nervously. On the third night, the same thing happened. Except this time, I watched him walk all the way to the sidewalk in front of my house and just stand there, staring at me. I decided it was time to tell someone, so I called for my dad. He came into the room, but by the time he got there, the smiling man was gone. My dad told me that if I saw him again, just to let him know. On the fourth day, the smiling man was back again, waiting on the sidewalk out front. I called to my dad, and my dad went outside this time with a bat to look for him. He came back after an hour of looking around the house and neighborhood and told me that he didn't see anyone. We lived in a pretty quiet neighborhood, so it would be hard for someone to come and go unnoticed. He said he'd talk with the neighbors and see if they'd seen anything. The next night, my dad planned a stakeout with some neighbors, and they all watched out their windows from 9 o'clock when I usually go to bed to 11 o'clock. No one saw the smiling man, and I feel like my dad is beginning to suspect that I'm just making him up.
August 7th, 1992.
Dad and the neighbors continued the neighborhood watch for 3 days, and the smiling man didn't return. He said maybe all the attention to Drew scared him off. I'm just happy that the smiling man hasn't been around, and hopefully he's gone for good. I've been having trouble sleeping, and I keep having nightmares with the smiling man getting me or being in my house. It would have been a lot better if we would have just caught him.
August 8th, 1992.
The smiling man was back last night, standing under the streetlight across the street again. My dad already seems mad at me. Maybe I won't tell him unless he starts getting close to the house again. I just want this to be over.
August 9th, 1992.
He's getting closer again. Last night he was on our side of the road. He was just slowly walking closer. So I hid under the windowsill where he couldn't see me, and I slept there all night.
August 10th, 1992.
The smiling man was right outside my window last night. I yelled so loud when I woke up and saw him that my dad ran into the room, but he was already gone when he got there. My mom called the police and they searched the whole neighborhood and they didn't find anything. They put out an alert for him, but I couldn't give a very good description. It's dark and all I could see was that stupid smile of his. I hope the police find him and shoot him.
August 11th, 1992.
I'm asking my mom to get me shades for my window. Maybe if the smiling man can't see into the room, he will leave me alone. I can't have him there another night. I don't want to sleep in my room anymore. I check the window locks every night before bed, just in case.
August 12th, 1992.
We put the shades up in the window today. Hopefully the smiling man will realize that he can't see me anymore and just go find some other kid to terrorize.
August 13th, 1992.
I kept waking up and staring at the shade through the night. I just had the creepiest feeling. The shades glow a little bit from the streetlight outside, so I was watching the glow when a shadow moved in front of the shades. It crossed back and forth a few times, and I was really scared, but after a while it didn't come back. I must have watched it for 2 hours or so before I finally got so tired that I fell asleep.
August 14th, 1992.
I woke up late at night and there was no glow on the shades. Something was right outside my window, standing there. I quietly got up and went to tell my dad. Dad was grumpy, but he grabbed the bat again and went outside. I watched from in my room. The shadow was still there for a while, but then as I heard my dad coming, it moved away. And then I saw my dad's shadow cross over it. He circled around the house and came back and said that he didn't see anything. There weren't even footprints in the dirt outside of my window. He sat me down and had a long talk with me. It's pretty obvious that he thinks I'm making this up. I don't know what to do.
August 17th, 1992.
The shadow was back every night. I finally had the courage to peek through the gap around the shades, and I saw him up close. I could see his eyes glittering in the faint light and that big smile of his right outside of my window. My heart was pounding so hard and my legs were shaking so bad that I almost fell over. I sat up in bed watching the shadow of the shades until I fell asleep. I'm scared he's going to break in and no one will be able to get to me in time.
August 22nd, 1992.
This isn't right. I know I can't be seeing what I'm seeing. I can't understand how it's real. The smiling man was in my room. I woke up and he was inside at the far wall opposite of my bed. I yelled so loud that my dad came bursting into my room, but when he turned the light on, there was nothing there. My heart was pounding and I didn't know what to say, so I just lied. I told him that I just saw the shadow outside of my window again. My dad just lifted up the shade and looked outside and then went back to bed angrily. I could hear my parents arguing about something from the room, but I'm not sure what it was. I know my dad thinks that I'm making things up, and why would he believe me anyways? How can a man just come through a locked window into my room and then just disappear?
August 23rd, 1992.
He was back again, inside my room. I pretended to be asleep and he just stood there watching me. I was so scared that he'd know that I was awake. My heart was beating so loud and my breathing was so fast. I kept my eyes closed, just listening, hoping that if he thinks I'm asleep, he won't hurt me.
August 24th, 1992.
I barely slept, and he was there in my room again. And when he noticed I was awake, he started walking slowly towards me. Every time I closed my eyes, he would stop until I looked at him again. So I just lay there with my eyes squeezed shut until I was so tired that I fell asleep. I can't sleep in my room anymore. I'm going to sleep on the couch in the living room from now on.
August 30th, 1992.
After spending 5 nights on the couch, my parents aren't happy with me. They don't believe me and they want me to go back to sleeping in my room. Ever since school started, I've hardly slept at all and I've gotten in trouble at school for falling asleep in class. I don't know why they think I would lie about this, but there's no way I'm going back in my old room.
September 6th, 1992.
My dad slept in my room for 5 days to prove to me that there's nothing to be afraid of. And now he's saying I'll be grounded if I don't sleep in my room again. I'm so scared of having to go back in there alone.
September 7th, 1992.
My dad pushed me into my room and closed the door on me last night. I tried to sleep, but I was too scared. I woke up after midnight and the smiling man was back. And again, he slowly crossed the room. Every time I looked, he got closer. And every time I closed my eyes and ignored him, he would stop. But he just lingered there, watching. I pretended to be asleep again, but I could feel his eyes on me. I could hear his slow, quiet breathing faintly over my pounding heart.
September 8th, 1992.
I got into a huge, yelling argument with my dad over having to sleep in my room. He's threatening to have me see a psychiatrist and put me on drugs for being a pathological liar. I don't want to be on drugs. This is really happening. Why won't anybody believe me? I'm just so tired.
September 9th, 1992.
My dad barricaded me in my room with a chair. I was trapped inside with the smiling man, and I don't think I slept all night. I just faded in and out of consciousness, but I was always too scared. I would peep through my half-open eyes, and every time the smiling man would see me, he would start moving closer. I could see the faint light from the shades glimmering off his teeth and eyes. I can't do this anymore. I'm stealing the kitchen knife and putting it in my bed. This is the last journal entry. When his parents moved the chair from the door the next day to check on Brian, they found him in his bed, holding the kitchen knife with both his wrists slashed and his sheets soaked in blood. The windows were both locked and there was no sign of intrusion, no footprints, no fingerprints. Nothing. Medical examiners confirmed that the wounds looked self-inflicted. Psychiatric analysis of the case came to one of two conclusions. The smiling man was a hallucination that Brian could no longer live with, or he was a manifestation of Brian's depression. Each time he focused on the depression, it grew bigger, closer, harder to ignore, and each time he ignored it, it just stayed exactly how it was. Eventually, Brian couldn't handle his mental illness and he took the only way out that he knew. We just got a call recently about a smiling man standing outside of the room of a young teen. I can't help but wonder if this is going to happen again.